Is it on?
Okay, yeah, I think we're live.
Nice.
Live. Alright.
Nice.
Okay, we're officially live. Alright. Alright, hey everybody. I am Brink. I am an admin of OL, and I'm joined by my co-host. Zach is on fire. What's up, Zach?
What up? What up? What's
Yeah.
up? OL Lights.
OL Lights.
It's me, your boy.
Alright, guys. We're all here for the OL After Dark podcast, episode 1. We came out of left field with you guys here, but we are gonna be talking all OL things. But
And drinking alcohol.
and drinking, yeah. Well, Zach is. That's one of the requirements. But but here we are. So kind of just want to start out with like just who I am, who Zach is. I kind of was here from the very beginning. Like we started with an idea that started with Robin, but he's no longer with us.
Rest in
But
peace.
rest in peace, Robin. But the original admins, they all have the founding father tag. Whoever was here from the inception, and so I just been here ever since. Losing games. Not making it past academy. That's me. But yeah, and that's pretty much who I am. How about you, Zach? Who are you?
Um, so I'm Zach. Uh, I wasn't really involved with OE at all until after Elder League when I got stomped by Brink's team in the Elder League finals, and then I kind of joined their community and played on the legendary Country Roads team in season one, and the team I captained won season two of Optimal League. The team was in Bloom. And now I'm staff and I'm just chilling, and now I'm here and having some whiskey and, Jay chilling.
Awesome, awesome. Uh, Thank you for pointing out that my voice is really low and it's hard for you to hear me. But I'll speak up louder. No worries. I'll talk louder, guys. So all right. We have, as you can see, we kind of have the items that we want to kind of talk about here. So Alcantos is saying that Brink is too low. How do I turn up my volume here, guys? I'm a noob. I'm a noob at this voice activation stuff. Okay. Let me do this. Is this too loud?
I think I'm just way louder than you.
Alright, I'm gonna put my voice activation really low, guys. You guys are just gonna hear me either super loud or I'm gonna be super quiet. One of the two. Alright.
Just go to user settings, voice, and up your input volume.
I guess that's what I did. Hopefully, everybody will tell me if I'm too low or too high.
I think you're just perfect.
Okay.
You're perfect with
Well,
everything in life. You're just the perfect person.
if I'm too low or too high. Turn Zach over and turn up mine. Okay, alright. Let's turn it up.
A contest just doesn't want to hear my ASMR.
That's fine.
You ready?
I think I should.
I love that noise.
Okay, alright. Imagine running into test before going live.
Alright, he's banned. Ban him from the chat.
Ban, ban, ban.
Get him out.
Okay.
Out, out, out.
You're not allowed here anymore. Okay, alright. So, I'll fix it as I go, guys. Okay, everybody stop. Just relax. Just relax. We're starting out here, guys. Okay. Alright. So, the qualifier and the tiebreaker points. We kind of need to get into that because a lot of people are kind of upset at me. So far, I was part of the qualifier. So far, my play was kind of chummy chummy, but I did pretty well, I think. But if we look at the bracket, I think the top two,
Bracket.
yeah, the bracket. Um, chummy. Okay. So, in my opinion, obviously everybody knows AK Gaming was the best team in the qualifier, and the Cuddle Bunch were just below Ashura because Ashura beat them actually, and it was really it wasn't really that close between Cuddle Bunch and Ashura. I think Ashura is pretty
Brink, they literally cannot hear you. You're not putting out any volume.
All right.
It's just revert what you did.
All right. Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. We're doing it live, okay? We're doing it live. All right. We're fixing things as we go. Scuffed podcast number one Scuffed podcast on amateur leagues. Okay.
Okay, he said. Okay, apparently you're perfect now. You've
Okay.
always been perfect though, but you're perfect.
All right, we fixed it, guys. We did it. We're here. All right. So I'm gonna reiterate what I was just saying about the qualifiers. Okay. So I feel like there's distinct differences in like the top. I know there's like a 1, 2, 3, and they're kind of similar, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're kind of similar in rankings, like in terms of win loss. Like AK went 5-0, Ashura, Cuddle Bunch, and Air Force went, and Air Force Academy went 4-1. But when you think about it, like especially when I saw the games, CSU did not go.
We'll talk
okay.
about that later.
Okay, we'll talk about that. We're getting into the controversy. Okay, we gotta start with one thing and we move on to the next. Okay, guys. So for the actual qualifier before the tiebreakers, I feel like 8K was definitively head over shoulders better than the rest of the teams.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
yeah, that's my opinion. And Ashura was convincingly better than the Cuddle Punch when I watched that game. When I watched them play, they were convincingly better than the Cuddle Bunch. But I feel like Cuddle Bunch they're kind of new and they didn't really play with each other or practice at all. Like they had practiced, I think they had one scrim or something. So that's kind of my excuse for them. But I mean, they didn't show it, so you can't really give them that excuse. So I do think Ashura is convincingly better as of
I
that
think.
game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that one game. I don't know. Like I watched that game. I think it was one of the streamed games. They didn't look that much better. I think like they definitely looked like they played together longer, but they didn't look like convincingly better. Like if this was a game like in week 3 or 4 of the season, I think Cuddle Bunch could probably win. And I see someone mention in the chat that Azera got the second highest ranked team in the league. I mean, does that mean that like they are the second highest ranking team in the league, or they just got? I don't know. Either way, ranks don't matter. 8K had the highest ranking team in the league last year, and they lost in quarterfinals.
There you go.
So.
Like that's like a prime example, right? Like when it comes to organized team play, some of these rankings they just kind of go out the window. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I think Azura was a good team. They're definitely going to be I think, if I accurately in ranking them right, or like current skill level of all teams right, I think they'd be middle to upper middle.
well, we can get into that, but
We'll talk about that later.
we can get into that for sure. Because we are gonna get into that, everybody. Power rankings are on the way. We're gonna give our thoughts, but I want to kind of talk about the tiebreakers because it was a little bit confusing, like in terms of like I understand there was some scuff things happened. Okay.
Mhm.
The first day of the qualifiers, there were certain teams that were given a win for the teams that didn't show up. And then
Correct.
on the second day of the qualifiers, the teams that didn't make it through, didn't show up, they were buys. So that kind of negatively affected the teams it positively affected the teams that were playing on the first day against the teams that didn't show up, and it negatively affected the teams who were playing them on the second day, right? So that's definitely a valid criticism, and
I agree.
it really sucks for the teams on day 2 who got buys instead of wins. But let's talk about it. Like, what do you think about that?
So I'm gonna go ahead, and this is like my personal opinion. I know, like after the first day, some staff were like trying to knock out like how to handle this because teams were leaving, and honestly, there's nothing that we can do. Like, we just have to hope teams show up, you know. And obviously, we could have done things better, like wait to make the bracket until like 30 minutes before, and things like that. But
True.
I think just like not being consistent with the format and just keeping it the same for day two was a kind of a big oopsies by us. I genuinely think that everything should have stayed the same for every round because creating buys after 3 rounds are already played like really messed with the standings and caused this whole controversy to begin with. There's always gonna be controversy with Swiss, especially with only 5 rounds. But I really think that like it was not the right idea to do buys. You either do it from the beginning or you don't do it at all. You know?
Yeah, just being consistent was the main thing, right? Like it's just kind of straightforward, like in my opinion. But I think we some things fall through the cracks, guys. We're human beings, you know. Things kind of get scuffed a little bit, you know. But
Yeah. I mean,
we
we're not
try to
perfect.
exactly. We're
Yeah.
not perfect. We're not perfect. But we try to get it fixed as soon as we could. But we try to be fair to everybody.
And
Simple
I
as that,
think
man.
the tiebreaker, like what we did, we like, you know, it's kind of hard because like obviously some of these 3 and 2 teams were I mean, I'm gonna be honest here, we're clearly worse than some of the 2 and 3 teams. But they just got the bye and or the free win, which really ups their record and helped them
Shout out
get
to
through.
Wildfire Ravens.
Yeah, shoutouts.
They died. They died for
Like
this.
I genuinely think Elion and Hawkeye were not as good as teams as Pyramid Thieves and Ravens and Illyrion. But you know,
Illyrion's not bad. I'll say that.
yeah,
They're not
yeah. But I mean, it's people hate this, but just fucking win. You know,
bad.
just win. It's
Some
that simple. If you
sometimes.
can't,
Yeah. Sorry.
you
Go
know,
ahead.
you go 2 and 3, you can't make any point, like any case or point to get into the league. Like you just gotta win. You know. Um. So that's that.
Yeah, and honestly, like sometimes it happens. It happens a lot. Okay, in all sports and all sort of like group draws type of randomization of like opponents. Sometimes you get the shit end of the stick, you know, and that's just reality, you know. But um, the teams who didn't get the shit end of the stick are in. So like, let's talk about those teams. Like, I guess we can talk about some of the problems of Swiss and the problems with book goals, but I think everybody's like sick and tired of like going through that stuff again, and I really don't want to get that fire going again, you know, because we moved
Yeah.
past it, you know. But all right, so I want to talk a little bit more about like
Oh wait,
top.
can I ask you
Yeah,
something? Can I
sure.
counter host you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So apparently, this chat reminded me of this. Apparently, Elion or Ilion, I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Ilion.
They like reported shit talk to one of the schools they played against. I think it was CSU. They literally reached out to like a director there or someone in charge of like the groups or clubs
Oh,
there, and like said they called us like fucking assholes, and they like ratted out to to the school. And I mean like number one, I don't like I don't like, you know, I'm not for this like that kind of shit talk after winning a game, especially when it's just play-ins. But like that's just like kind of too far to
oh, they
just
said get
reach out
fucked,
to school.
idiots.
What do you think about that? Like, yeah, they say
Okay.
get fucked.
All right, all right,
They
all right.
typed it
Let
in.
me
They
let me
typed
let me chime in. Okay, let me chime in
Yeah.
on this. Like, okay, so let's be. Okay, just gonna say it wasn't the players. All right, all right. So I'm kind of taking some of the pointers from the chat. I'm reading. Don't worry, I'm reading. So, okay, my takeaway is, if we're gonna be in a competitive league, don't BM obviously. Like
Mhm.
you're in your game and people are competing and they're trying to, you know, if you played a sport. I played basketball for a long time, and like showboating is one thing, but like when you're like when the game's over, you know, like what do you like at the same time, like I don't see the point in shit talking when like a team is down, like they're out, you know. But like I understand if there was like shit talk beforehand, um but you know, like at the same time, I will say, if someone told me, yo, you guys fucking suck, get fucked, idiots, I'd be like, that guy's an asshole, but whatever, you know? And I'll just
Mhm.
go about my business. I wouldn't report people, you know? Like, we gotta get to a stage where, like, we gotta get to, like, a level of, like, I guess, tolerance where, like, if the guy is not, like, if you could just mute him or like, mute whatever their emotes and whatever, you won't hear any of that stuff. So who cares, right? And
Mhm.
I mean, inherently, we can't like censor people like that. Like, you can't be like,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm not
this,
about that.
yeah, you can't just censor people like that. Like, people can say whatever they want, but like, ultimately, the people around will um, be like the ones to filter them out. Like, they won't fit in with the rest of the people if they're continuing to being assholes, right?
Yeah, I'm all like it's kind of different though, because like we can be like against censor. Like I don't care. Like I want people to like say admins or shit. Like they should have every right to say that. But like
Yeah.
just like telling the other team like fuck you, you suck. Like I think that's I don't know. I feel like and it what added more
That
fuel
shit
to that
happens
fire
all the
was the fact.
time, man. Like,
Yeah, they typed it to the stream and the person on stream like said it out loud, which kind of added more fuel to the fire, which like made it indirect, but also like the person streaming it said that. But I don't know. I just wanted your opinion on that because it's kind of spicy. So
I'm fine with it. Like, as long as like when you're in the trash talk session, like talk about each other's game. You know, like don't be like, yo, this guy's fucking retarded or this
oh,
guy's fucking this.
we should have talked about trash talk. Oh, last night was spicy.
There must have been a
We
lot of
should.
spice. I've been
Oh
up
yeah,
all
I don't know
night.
if you read it, but I was the one monitoring it. But it was spicy. We can talk about that later
I'm not
if
gonna
we have
lie,
time.
go crazy in the trash talk section. Just don't call, don't like, don't do the things that you're not supposed to do. Okay, like, all right, let's move on. All
We're gonna
right,
do the top qualifier teams compared to current teams.
yeah, so, okay, let's go with this. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna pull up on my end. Just 1 second here.
The
Pull up.
power rankings. You can see the power rankings in
I'm gonna link it in the chat.
the
Yeah,
power ranking channel. Yeah.
yeah, Pirate Ranking channel, or I'm gonna link it in the chat. I linked it in the chat for you guys. Okay. So, I miss you too, definitely. All right. So for the power rankings, honestly,
Wow, Death Holy, what the hell, man?
I'm gonna post. Actually, I'm gonna pull up a graphic here. 1 second here. Let me take this down. Not the talking heads. Okay. Turn this on. All right. So
By the way, in the future we are doing um,
guess. Yeah,
power rankings. Yeah. Oh yeah, that guest too. Yeah, we're gonna have guests on the show.
we're gonna have guest
Um,
guys for sure. Like,
but you
some
have
of you
to be
guys are
under
gonna
the
be allowed to get
influence.
up on here and talk some shit for sure.
Yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want. You
Talk
just
your shit for sure. Once you get up on here, you got your time to say whatever the fuck you want to say.
yeah, that literally yeah. Which one is Wildfire
Yeah.
Ravens?
All right.
Oh,
So
yeah. Wildfire Ravens is automatically 18th.
okay. Oh, how
Mm,
about Ravens 18th
hold on,
immediately? Wait, hold up. They
I
have
gotta
Death
explain.
Holy there, so they can't be 18th, right?
Yeah,
Can't. They
yeah.
can't. They
The
can't. They
only
can't.
18th confirmed.
Okay. So
Can I explain the rankings real quick? Because people seem to not.
okay. So Zach made these rankings, and Zach is gonna give his opinion on what, like, why he put where teams are. Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead. All
so
right. Go ahead.
basically this is the average of three people's rankings. So that's why so the reason G7, Absolute Victory, and 8K are all 1, 2, and 3 is because everyone put them as 1, 2, and 3. But for anything after that, that's just their average ranking. So like, for example, um, I put Wyoming as the fifth best team because fuck yeah, Wyoming. But Matic put them as the 8th team, and Wyoming, or sorry, Murdoch put them as the 11th team, which put them where they're at now, which is 8th. Um, so, like, it's just the average of all three of us. And there's going to be a fourth person who's going to be doing them, which is Austin or Demon Monkey. And I'm always accepting like other people to give us their input because sometimes people can't make it. Maybe like a Gets power ranker. But yeah, it's just like the reason there's decimal places is because this is an average. I'm not literally ranking like a team like, oh, they're not a 12, they're 12.3 because they're not good enough to be 12. So that's
Okay.
just my explanation on it.
All
But
right.
but this is just the total of what three people, the average three people's rankings from rank 1 to rank 18. So
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. But like, I'm talking for like in
okay, so you want to hear the
actuality.
spicy?
Okay, I want to hear. Okay, I want to hear the spicy shit first. Let's go.
Okay, so there were some. So everyone wrote a blurb. So AKA me, Medic, Murdoch, all wrote blurbs, like little tiny comments for every team, and there's some spicy ones. So clearly at the top we have G7 here. All three of us ranked G7 first. One because they're retaining. They upgraded their bot lane. They got Havoc, who's the best support in the league. They kept Trin, who's consistently a top 3 mid laner. They have Ben Turtle, who's like a top 2 jungler, and they have Steel City top lane, which is probably the best top lane in the league.
Still City War.
Yeah, their ADC is unproven in OL at least. He must be okay if he's better than me. Like he's probably the best player in the league then. If they picked him over me, because
Okay.
I'm the best ADC other than him.
I'm
Clearly.
gonna give my opinion on G7. Okay.
Yeah, give your opinion on
Okay.
G7.
Okay. First of all, I'm gonna preface this by saying that
They talk too
I.
much.
I'm gonna preface this by saying I am guilty of spamming Gang 7 in the chat. Okay.
Gang 7.
Gang 7. But I'm gonna bring some facts. Okay. Like G7 haven't won shit yet. They haven't won anything. They really have been like flopping in terms of when shit actually matters. They haven't gotten it done, you know. So
Yeah.
that is a knock against them for sure. That's definitely a knock against them. But like it's hard for us to put like when I look at the rosters, like, especially when I look at Absolute Victory, they lost Havoc and Zach, and they also lost their top laner Nax, right?
Who was really underrated, by the way.
Nax was
People,
pretty
like,
underrated. Yeah, he was
people
very
really
underrated.
hated on him, but he was a quality top laner. Probably one of the best top laners I've ever played with.
Rasenkin, everybody knows he's pretty nutty. Juicy, E-Boy, actually Juicy and Rasenkin are the best mid jungle, right? Like it's
Yeah, I personally think, and I'm biased because I was on Unbloom, but like Juicy and Razekin are probably the best mid jungle duo in the league. And I mean, like everyone can be like, oh no, like Trinity and Ben are better, or these two other people. Yeah, fuck off, Ron, whoever you are. Yeah, like literally, people can say these things, but like it's results, you know.
results exactly.
And here's the thing: you can say, oh, Elvis was dying in Iceland, and our top laner had 100 ping, boohoo. But like that doesn't stop us from seeing the mid jungle duo happening. Like,
Okay,
we don't.
okay.
That doesn't stop us from seeing Ben and
Let me just
Turtle,
stop you
or
there in
Ben
the
and Trin
chat,
playing.
guys. Trin, everybody knows Trin is nuts. He's pretty good. He's really good.
Trinity's nuts, but Razekin's is also nuts. So.
Razekin's better. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say it. Like facts. Razekin's better than Trinity. But like, um, but when you look at it, like as a whole, like I feel like Havoc and Cinderace like really bring the roster together for G7. So it's hard. It's hard to just not put them number one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yeah.
like they're the team that it's just up to them to lose. You know, it's up to them to like they lose the game or teams. It's hard for teams to really win against them. Other than Absolute Victory, I think Absolute Victory can like depending on how their bot lane turns out. Like I know Razikin really is looking for players who are literally he's trying to win another title. So like
All right, his name is Raisin now because he's upset about how he pronounced his name. So all right, Raisin Law.
yeah.
So basically, here's my opinion on them. So I think they upgraded at ADC, but the thing is, the way In Bloom won was by just focusing on jungle mid the whole time, which is, in my opinion, all that matters in our like level of play. But like that's how they won. So if their other solo lanes or their bot lanes are demanding like all these resources from the jungler, I think that could possibly like throw it out of whack, like their play style. Like I think like the bot lane for In Bloom last season was perfect for Razekin and Juicy because I could just play Ezreal and literally just farm, and then Havoc just roams and helps mid lane, GC helps mid lane, and top was perfect on like an island doing nothing. So that's why I think In Bloom worked so well last season. I'm not sure how they're gonna play this season. If they're gonna play the same like the same style or not. So that's why I think G7 is gonna be better because G7 also has Havoc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally,
Exactly.
he's the two-time. Like
The two time.
he's the two-time.
He's
So
looking for that 3P, but
yeah,
like this is the team that you can do it on. Like I'll give them credit. Like they have the roster. Forget about their subs. Their subs. I don't know about their
Yeah.
subs. I don't know about their subs, but
I think they were overrated last season. I think G7
Shots
obviously
fired
they're
at
good at
Ratchet and
creating
Terra.
G7's good at creating narratives, but like they had Elvis support last season. Like they literally had a top laner who was like an average top
Good point.
laner,
That's a good point. That's
and
a
then
good point.
you also have to support like, and then North's a good ADC, but he's not like a pop off ADC. So like I mean they like were like, oh, we're G7, but they also had like 3 FFs against them, and like I don't know,
Okay.
it's
All right. I get it. Like the more you talk about it, like the more
They
This
just
this
create a
roster,
narrative, you know.
yeah. Like I feel like as long as they kind of figure out the roles and
Hmm.
who is gonna do what, and everybody does kind of fits together and gels and understands their like what their responsibilities are, I think this team is gonna be really hard to beat for this level of play. You know, so that's my take. We're not gonna talk too much about G7. We already know, you know, Gang 7. But let's move it down. We all know Absolute Victory is gonna be right there. Like I don't count them
Yeah.
out for a second. Like they're gonna be right there. You know, like
All right. So we'll talk about absolute victory because Razigan wants to talk about him. Like
okay,
we'll give him a good 45 seconds. All right. So I gave my opinion earlier on him, but I think he wasn't paying attention. I think they'll be a top team, but I think they might have issues with their play styles unless their bot lane is the same as like of bot lane as last season, where they don't demand a lot of resources. Um, I think they just have to focus on that mid jungle with Juicy and Razigan and just repeat success.
and I feel like that's like probably the winning formula in just competitive play. Like winning
Yeah,
mid
at our
jungle,
level.
it's just making sure that mid and jungle have priority is like massive. So like
Hmm.
if they find a way to just enable those two players to like um, do what they do and like take control of the game, I feel like they'll definitely boost their chances of like doing well. You know,
Hmm.
if they're able to if they went up against G7, like G7 Mirage, and they were able to get the upper hand on Turtle and Trinity, the rest of the map might like it's not gonna crumble, but I'm just saying like it's really hard. It's like a void, you know.
Hmm.
Um,
Also, I can personally vouch for this is that like Razikin and GC don't really tilt. Like when you're down 2-0 in the finals, you're just kind of like, all right, guys, game one. What are we doing? Everyone is kind of on level. Like their
mhm.
mental is even keeled. We're like, okay, we're fine, guys. Let's just do what we were successful at because we didn't lose a game when we had GC.
That's really important.
And
Yeah.
we're like, what did we do? We just camped mid. Why don't we just do that every game? And they're like, yeah, it's a good idea. And
Yeah,
we
I
just picked
mean,
safe bottom lane. We picked Ezreal
yeah,
and a support that could roam, and then we picked the safe top lane, aka Kennen, and then we won the game.
exactly. Like just adapting from game to game, and I feel like if they go through the season and they're able to like go from game to game, understanding um, what they need to improve on and what like style is working for them, and like hone in on it
Hmm.
and do that. If they're capable of doing that, they're gonna have a run of the league for sure.
Oh yeah,
Um,
and right before we move on to AK, I'll just tell Raze just for his own to toot his own horn. Razekin like basically hard carried semifinals, because he drew like 5 bans, 4 or 5 bans almost every game. Um, yeah, I think he played better. I'm pretty sure he played better in semis than he did in finals. But
okay,
all right, let's move on to AK.
okay, let's go to AK. Okay, let's go to AK. Right now, AK like they're basically 3/4, or sorry, yeah, they're 3/5 of the original spot team, right? That
Hmm.
when they're in the other season. Okay, so this
Yes,
team wasn't this team supposed to be like the best team, and then they kind of just
yes,
boomed, right?
yeah. So Guardians to the high. So like the thing about OL last season in the beginning is most teams were like their highest ranked was like D3. Or like that
Okay,
we knew of at least. Like
yeah.
it was still low diamond. Season one was like high plat low diamond. Season two was like lowish mid diamond. But these guys are all like D1, except for like Thorngrim. So everyone's like, oh my god, it's Guardians, which turned into AK, and everyone's like, this team's gonna be like win the league. They're like so hype and so good, but like
They
they
had
just
lot of hype. They had a lot of hype. Yeah.
yeah they did, and they just kind of like crashed. Like they had the big scandal where they had an ex like challenger player or something. So they lost. They like FF to In Bloom, which is part of the reason why In Bloom like made it to playoffs.
Hmm.
Um, and then they also like had the whole debacle where like they were supposed to have a loss to Glacier, but
Oh
the
yeah,
Prey
that's
owner
right.
like said you can't do that, and like there's a huge drama. Like people don't remember that. Like
That was big.
Bangs literally. All right, so TBT to Bangs. Bangs literally reversed an admin ruling. So Guardians should have been 0-2 in the first week, but they ended up 1-1 because he forced Glacier to FF to Guardians. And if he didn't do that, Fallen Crusaders would have been in playoffs. which is like super spicy, like a super like big what if.
There
But
was, yeah, that was a pretty big like you obviously can't prove and can't say, oh wait, like Bangs forced us to do this, you know. But
mhm,
I mean, the underlying thing is like that's what happened, you know, and like that kind of that really screwed over a lot of teams. That screwed over
mhm,
Fallen Crusaders, and it just affected a lot of things about the league going into playoffs. So, I mean, that's a whole nother drama case.
yeah,
Right this
yeah, that's
season.
like that was like one of the most overlooked things ever. And when we had the drama with me earlier in the season, how I was like, we need to punish a team for going against admin rulings. Like that's all I could think about was the fact that like Bangs literally reversed an admin ruling as like an organization owner, which like directly affected playoffs, um, and like tiebreakers and stuff. So
Yeah, so
it's just
that's
a big feels bad.
that was a big
But
feels bad for sure. And this team, AK, is remnants of that team. So
mhm.
they kind
We
of
have a better bot
understood, yeah, and they understood that they just needed to separate and not be part, not be on it. I guess they just didn't want to be on the same team with Thorngrim and Barlane. So
I think so.
I
Yeah,
was
or
I wasn't
Thorngrim at
part of that.
least.
I wasn't like too informed about the reasoning behind that, but it seemed like they had internal issues. You know, they just wanted new
Yeah.
teammates, and Thorngrim, who kept the spot, which is something we're gonna talk about later, kept the spot but joined a different org, uh, and built around himself, and I guess their bot lane. But AK proved they just said we don't need you. We're gonna go down to the applicant tournament. We're gonna bust everybody's ass there, and then we're gonna get back in the league on our own with our own spot and our own team the way we want to do it. And that's why I
And
have
they
a
did
lot of
it
respect for
so
them because
clean.
yeah, I have a lot of respect for AK because they were just like we're not gonna just tie ourselves to one player or a couple players that we're not happy playing with. You know, they're just like, yo, we're just gonna do our own thing, and we're gonna get in no matter what, and we're going for, you know, they're trying to win, and I really like that. Like honestly, I like the path that they went because they took control of their own like, you know, path. You know,
Hmm.
so. But when you look at their team, like the team and the players, you already know that they're gonna be a top contender. You know, Drops, Boone, these guys are like, we're already you know, performing really well in the regular season, uh, in season two. So in season two, people will say it's gonna be was more competitive. This is gonna be more competitive than season three. So I don't know about that. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I mean, they're rated high for a reason, right?
Yeah. Um, Spicy. My friend just texted me and said, if my phone dies and people are looking for me, I'm near the silver light near PNC. So I guess his phone dies and he's drunk at a concert. And okay.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
Spicy.
It's very
Um,
spicy. We're talking about
so
AK. So we're talking. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, I know.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So AK, like, I think they'll be a top team. It's pretty simple. Like, they're gonna be a top team. So for Fallen Crusaders, after Fallen Crusaders, like, I would say everyone from G7 Dawn or Dusk, I mean, to like the Air Force is like a big gray area. I think those are like all like YOLO ranks. But we'll talk about Fallen Crusaders.
I
Um,
I don't really know too much about them, so I'm
I
kind
know
of yeah.
everything about them.
Okay. Oh, okay. Spill the beans. I guess we're talking about Fallen Crusaders. Okay,
Okay,
go for it.
so
Go for it.
I think they were put here partially because they're the same team as last season.
Mhm.
They're just more practiced, and they're more known than the other teams like under them. I think Fallen Crusaders should have been playoffs last season. I don't think they would have won playoffs, but they definitely put in the effort, and I think they have one of the best ADCs in the league, which is really important.
ADC's a
Even though mid
big
jungle is,
role right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, mid jungle is obviously the core, but like ADC is really big. So like if they can stall the game out long enough, they win.
Yeah.
Um,
Void Boil Angel actually can really do some damage. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, and I think they're at 4.3, but I think they could range anywhere from like 3 to 8, depending on like the day and the teams they play.
Yeah, like they're not. It's not I'm not saying they're inconsistent, but they they have moments where teams that they can clearly that they should beat are beating them. You know. So like they'll have moments of like they'll have laps in, I guess, focus. I think focus is like probably something maybe that they need to work on, I guess. But
Hmm.
if they can keep it up, like I love when teams just like run it back. You know, like they keep the same roster. Like yo, we may have like fucked it up in the first iteration or the first time we went out and competed together, but like they liked the pieces that they had and they wanted to just like get back in the lab and just like scrim, learn how to play with each other a little bit more and run it back for season 3. You know, I like that. I really like that.
Yeah. So I definitely think, yeah, I think that they're in a good spot too. Um, I don't know what else to really say about them.
Yeah, they'll be there. We're gonna have more conversations about Fallout. We're gonna keep up with them, guys. We're gonna keep up
Yeah.
with them. We're gonna see what's going on. But okay, let's move over to G7 Dust. This is the team that Aries was captaining. But
Okay, this is
yeah,
a fun team.
this is a fun team to talk about, I guess.
So I think I ranked this team the worst out of everyone. So I put them at 7, Medic put them at 4, and Murdoch put them at 5. And I actually like love these guys, and I think they're gonna be good. But like, they're kind of like they're full of subs, and then people that played in season 1. Like, let me see their roster real quick. Okay, so I know Fuzzball, and he like when last time I played with him, he was kind of like,
Zach, can you go ahead and talk? I just had to take a phone call.
okay, he was not that good. All right, let's get the fuck off the couch, you stupid cat. Hey, all right, sorry. Okay, so basically, um, we can hear you by the way, Brink, if you're on the phone. G7 Dusk, top lane unknown, jungle. I played with him before. He's okay, like middle of the pack jungler. Mid Blazing Cake. I think Blazing Cake can be a top mid laner with a good jungler. Sola is actually pretty good. I think they could pick up a better ADC, but he's definitely a solid ADC. In Ares, obviously, pretty good support. I think they're just ranked 5.3 because they're known. Like I said, this whole area below is a gray area, and from like 5.3 to 11.3 ish is just a whole gray area that where people didn't know where to rank other teams. So I really think that G7 Dusk is kind of overrated here, but yeah, they're 5.3. Let me take a little sip of whiskey before I continue. Ow, it's got some in my eye. Oh shit. Okay. Oh shit, that burned. Oh my god. Okay. Whew, okay. So, Azura. I don't know shit about them. I really don't know shit about them. Wait, I literally don't know anyone. Are you here,
I
Brink?
am back. I am back. Yes.
Who the fuck is on Azura, dude?
I have no clue, honestly. But we're gonna get through this, cause.
Alright, so I took a sip of whiskey and it got in my eye. So I'm kind of like done. I'm down for a sec, dude.
You're
Oh my
down
God.
for the count, guys.
Alright, I'm alive.
Please send your prayers to Zach. So let's talk about the next team, and that's Ashura. I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit about this team actually. But just give me
Okay,
a
you can, because I really don't know anyone. I can look at their ranks.
my Google Chrome is really just not responding right now. Okay. So
I
Ashura.
know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you can talk. Yeah, you can
Well,
talk about them.
okay. Well, my experience with Ashura as a team is because, as well as mainly through the applicant tournament, because I saw Cuddle Bunch, which was my team that I benched myself from. I saw them play against Ashura, and Ashura beat them fairly handily. Their bot lane is very reliable. They're stable. Mid jungle is pretty strong. Top lane was doing well as well. Like, I think he outperformed Dark Excel, but I feel like Dark Excel wasn't in a matchup that I guess there's some draft issues with Cuddle Bunch. I'll just say that much, because they kind of didn't have much time to like practice together, but nonetheless they lost. So Ashura is better, but all I gotta say about this team is that we just gotta see more. You know, we just gotta see more. They lost to AK, so you know there's that caveat. But overall, like this is kind of like a wait and see team. You know, like you don't really know how good they are until until we get to see them play against, like absolute victory, and wait to see how they play against teams like Wyoming, because I feel like Wyoming's sort of middle of the pack. They're top of the Academy League, but the Academy League was very weak. So
That's very true.
the Academy League was so weak, but they were the top of that. So like they might not have been trying their best. Like, so I don't know. We don't really know how good Wyoming was. I guess we'll find out, right? But because they're in the same group, like Ashura and Wyoming are in the same group, and I personally feel like Ashura might be better. But I guess we'll see soon. But that's another team I'm gonna keep tabs on because I feel like that team can swing either way. Like they can either be upper, like above like half of the league, or they can be right in the middle, stuck in the middle there. I don't think they'll go lower than that, like middle of the pack. They're upper middle of the pack or right in the middle.
Hmm.
So that's just kind of my take on them. What do you think? Have you seen them play at all, or you just kind of look at their ranks?
Yeah, I've seen him play.
Okay. Yeah, they're not bad. I think they're.
I think I've seen every team play. I've seen Cuddle Bunch, seen Wyoming, seen Ravens. I was looking at GLE, yes, but
Mhm.
yeah, I've seen Ravens, Azura. I saw them play against Cuddle Bunch. Wildfire underscore has a new name. I forgot what it was. Let me check.
I think they're Wildfire Nighthawks.
Something stupid. Yeah, so try hard. Alright, the Nighthawks.
Try
Yeah.
hard name.
Alright, yeah. So Nighthawks are the old Eagles, I guess.
Okay,
I don't know anything about them.
Okay, we can
Yeah,
move on to the
let's
next team. Okay,
yeah.
so we're gonna kind of go through through these pretty fast because the remaining teams are kind of teams that we don't really know as much, but
Mhm.
they also have things to prove, going forward. So GLE Static, we're gonna kind of skip this team because we're gonna get to that. Wyoming, the comments that were made though about them were kind of on point. I feel like by Zach is like, I really like this team. I rated them the highest out of everyone, and I think they are completely overlooked. No one underrates them, but no one gives them the time of day either. I expect them in playoffs. Okay, this might, like, this is kind of a good statement, but at the same time, I feel like Wyoming, like I'm kind of a little shaky. They seem a little shaky. They might
Mhm.
they might do okay if they have good fundamentals and play like well in terms of like, not randomly dying when their supports warding solo or something like that. But
Yeah.
like if they stay like grounded and they have like good fundamentals, I feel like they can do well. Obviously they got the best player in the world, the
Fiddlesticks, man.
the Fiddlesticks won the trick. I need to see that shit, dude. I need to see the Fiddlesticks. I ask it, but he never replies to me. Witchell, come on, man. All right, next team.
Alright, what's next?
Cuddle Bunch.
Cuddle Bunch. Okay.
Okay. I can talk about
Murdoch?
Cuddle Bunch.
Hold on. Let me get my outside input first.
Okay. All right. Let's hear you.
Alright, I'm not blaming anyone here.
Okay.
So that's it's gonna be bad. Okay, so I'm gonna read Murdoch's statement first. Cuddle Bunch is a mashup of a bunch of different interesting players, namely Treebro, Pata, Demon Monkey Mid, and the rest of OE's finest. They showed off pretty well in the promotional tournament with a 4-1 record. Okay, so let me just go down your roster real quick. So Dark Excel, No Flame here. He just looked like utter trash in the stream game he played. I don't know if he was having a bad game or what.
That was the game against Asher where they got wrecked. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like motherfucking garbage. I think he can improve, but like I feel like you could just get a plug and play top laner like Murdoch and just that's funny, sorry. But like you can just get a
Murdoch,
plug and play
plug and play
person like Murdoch.
okay.
And then oh god, that's so much flame. Okay, and just get him to play it. That's flame for both of them. Alright, Tree Bro, you have probably one of the best junglers in the league, if not the best jungler.
Tree Bro is actually nuts. Okay, go ahead.
Demon Monkey will be a top mid by the end of the season. He's still got a ways to go.
Slow bake. He's
Sniper,
on slow bake.
I'm just not big on Sniper. Like he can play Caitlyn, I guess, but like I'm not big on Sniper. Like I'm really not. I mean, you told me the story about how he like improved really quickly. But and I think that really shows a lot about him as a person. But that was also solo queue. Um, so not big on Sniper and Kaysion. I'm also not very big on Kaysion, but I think the mid jungle duo is really big there. But I think if that doesn't succeed, I think Cuddle Bunch won't win any games if they don't get their mid jungle going.
Okay.
So,
I mean
but now
that's
you give your insider input.
okay. That's fair. That's fair. But that's a fair point of view if you don't know the players. So like, Dark Excel, that's probably the worst game I've ever seen him play. So it's fair for people to think he's bad, like just from that one game. But he is very stable and like kind of he sticks to his sort of champ pool. We do kind of run like a duo top where we have Pada and Dark Excel kind of share times in terms of like who's better at what matchup, who's better in the certain meta, like what champions are we supposed to pick, or what's strong and then we want to play around, that sort of thing. And they're both, you know, willing to like share time with each other, which is good. Treebro, obviously, like I was on the team until Treebro was a free agent, and I was like, okay, let me just bench myself and bring in this beast, you know? Like he's actually really good. Like he's actually insane. If you ever seen his stream or if you check his channel out, you know, um, I'll plug it just for all intents and purposes. I'll find it and I'll plug it at some point. But he's really good. He kind of has really good comms and has like he keeps the map. He holds the map together like glue. You know, like he makes sure
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows where he is, what he can do, what people can do on the weak side, what they can't. You know, where tracking the enemy jungler sort of thing. So he kind of does it all. He has good fundamentals as a jungler, and I respect him as a player. Um, Austin or Demon Monkey, he literally just like he role swapped to this role like a few months ago, and it's just like all things. You know, it started off slow, but he like really picked it up and just got to a champ pool where he was comfortable and was able to consistently like hold his own against mid to high diamond players. So it's like it says a lot about his flexibility and as a player and like how smart he is. And he's only gonna get better, right? But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, um, the criminally underrated bot lane dude, Sniper and Kaysion, they consistently get kills in lane. Like 2v2, that game was really bad. Like all around as a team, they kind of like failed. But when you actually just look at them isolated in a 2v2 throughout the season, you guys will see, you know, they actually do really well. They have a good dynamic. They know each other's roles. They know that Kaysion's the voice, Sniper follows. Sniper's a quiet guy, but he really put a lot of work into like get back to competing,
Mm-hmm.
performance, having good performances. And he's a reliable carry. Like he actually is very reliable. And all the games that they won, it was Sniper just being the carry, like he was just the one that was in the back, like good positioning, get like good DPS, and he plays everything almost,
Yeah.
so I mean it's easy to say that like I'm not really sold on him, but that's fine. It's only the applicant tournament, so you can't really say much about it, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna we're just gonna have to, all these teams are kind of up in the air. We don't know how, like G7 could go boom as soon as they like play together and they excuse me, lost my voice there. But like G7 could just go boom if they don't mesh as personality wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but this team already meshes personality wise, so it's really a good place that they're at to like improve from. And I think the rankings for them is fair because
Yeah. I mean,
the
that's the
rank
thing. That's the issue with like the teams we're about to talk about, especially like I know I mentioned like 5 to like 11, but like these final few teams like in between that area is just like we don't really see like the Wildfire underscore team. I think that's a whole new roster. We can't really talk about them. But we thought that team was going to be Ravens, um,
mhm.
which is the team that like was just switched from Wildfire underscore to Ravens after they got announced that they got in.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you can't really talk about them. Like they went 2-3. They played really good teams, but like everyone's like, oh, they're 2-3, but they're better than the other 3-2 teams. I mean, they still went 2-3 though against like the top teams. I think.
I will kind of chime in because I kind of have insider info because I watched the Holy stream and I watched
Hmm.
them play, and I feel like I think their bot lane is stable, and their bot lane is probably like what they should be playing through. Their mid laner is good too. I don't know if he's their mid laner still, but I think his name is Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's their mid laner. But
I think he's on AK now.
yeah, well, at the time the Ravens had like if we're talking about the applicant tournament and we're kind of basing their performance off that,
Mm-hmm.
then I feel like they have a good mid laner, a good bot lane. The jungler is just not someone who I was a big fan of. You know, he's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
clutters the comms a little bit. He kind of like over explains what he wants to do.
Yeah, he seemed kind of like crazy.
A
Like
little,
he just like said, fuck this and going in. Like
yeah,
not like I didn't hear him say that, but like that's his play style. He's just like fuck it, YOLO.
yeah, kind of like, anxious and trigger happy. And see champion kill champion. And as a
Shouldn't
jungler,
drink coffee.
as a jungler, that's really coin flip. Like you can't be that coin flip. So, because what if like you just go in and you're not tracking the jungler, boom, and the game's over because your team just like died 3 for 0 because you're just over eager. But
Mm-hmm.
so I think as long as he kind of tones it down or they kind of find a way to like not int in the early games, then they'll be fine. Because I feel like Deathloop is kind of a stable player, very safe, doesn't take risks. So like,
Yeah.
very risk averse and just really wants to play for the efficiency and the playing for that. So I'm gonna
So
just
it's a good and bad thing. It's mostly
kinda
good against like lower elo people because like you just wait for them to make a mistake.
I just know for a fact that they're gonna really struggle against anybody in the top 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
Seven, top 7 teams, they're gonna have trouble, a lot of trouble. Even against Cuddle Bunch, they're gonna have a lot of trouble, cause their bot lane is not gonna run over Cuddle Bunch's bot lane for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mid and jungle, they have the upper hand in jungle like by a lot. Tree Bros, Miles, like tiers above their jungler. And then I think Austin might struggle against Griffin, but not struggle, but he's good at like holding his own, like Demonkey is. It's gonna be kind of up to Griffin really to like make plays on the map, cause bot lane is really easy to neutralize. So like if you're good at bot lane and you're playing against a good bot lane, it's really tough to like just get 2v2 kills without any influence. So I think the game
Yeah.
would just kind of like really dependent on. I think the team Ravens will really depend on Griffin to just have standout performances like week in and week out. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just my take on their team personally. But so that's that. Okay, next team. There's a lot of teams, man. Holy.
Oh yeah. Okay. So no, I agree with that though.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a yeah. I don't see them beating top teams. Yeah, they just like I was talking about that. I forget who I was talking to. I think it was just the staff because we were waiting for issues to come up. But we were watching the Ravens game. I don't know which one it was, who they played, but like it was so weird seeing like their jungler like good like super aggro, and then like Dioli be like no. He's just like like you could tell he like hesitated to go in or like super ult or something.
Yeah, that kind of happens. I feel like that kind of happens with the Holy a little bit. Like Death
Mhm.
Holy kind of is very risk averse and kind of just looking for the perfect play. And sometimes in League, especially in this meta where like you can't get as much vision as you used to, and you can't get as much like control as you used to, you
Mhm.
kind of have to go for the gut feelings a little bit, like a little bit more than what you're used to in like season past, like season 4, season 5. Like those seasons,
Yeah.
you were able to just like play um, for the perfect play, but now you can't really do that anymore.
Yeah, hence why Korea is like kind of had their downfall.
Yeah, they're kind of
Like
having
last
their
year.
mental boom, like
Yeah. All right, let's go to Penguins. I basically don't know much about them at all except for Reincarnation's a pretty good jungler. That's about it.
honestly, I don't want to flame them, but like Wildfire Penguins made it. Like I know their jungler is good. I don't know the rest of the players are very forgettable, but like I honestly
Yeah.
their jungler was kind of 1v9 I think, but like
I ranked them the highest out of everyone. I put them at 9. Medic had them at 13, and
I
Murdoch
mean,
had them at 12.
what else can you say about them? They like made it to the finals out of a weak academy team, like academy group.
and they lost.
and they lost in the finals.
Yeah.
So and then
Yeah, I
made
don't
it-
think any of the academy teams should be ranked that high. Honestly, like
yeah.
maybe in the like relative to like some of the playing teams, but like compared to the teams we absolutely know about, like G7, Absolute Victory, you know, AK, um, like they really, I could see them maybe like like sliding into playoffs possibly as like a,
I
you know,
honestly, I'm a little more pessimistic. I would say they would have slid in, maybe past Leon to make it into Premier. They
Mhm.
probably would have struggled making it in my opinion. Like through the applicant tournament, they would have struggled.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I think they would have ended up 3-2 or 4-1. Honestly,
I don't know
think
if
they
they
would
would
have.
have.
I think they would beat Elion, and I think they would beat Pyramid Thieves.
I think USA Air Force is better than them actually.
Okay, we had. Oh, I'm excited to talk about Air Force. Are they next? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, they're technically tied in ranking. I don't know. Wait, put Penguins first. But I do think. Sorry, I'm yawning. Holy shit, sorry. All right. All right. So
Late night. After
it
dark,
is,
guys. After dark.
dude. After dark plus whiskey plus your pills. Oh my god. All right. So Air Force, I watched their game. Their bot lane is super underwhelming. Their solo lanes are like meh, but their jungler is really good. So that's why I have them lower.
Okay.
I had them at 14, Medic had them at 10, and Murdoch had them at 10. So I'm like the reason why they're ranked lower than they are. I just don't like. They just didn't do anything. Like if their jungler isn't doing anything, then the team will just lose. Like you shut down Truffles and the game's over. Like Air Force is just done.
No, that's not okay. That's not fact. There's no way because I've seen them play. Their
Mhm.
top laner. If you do not ban, warning to the league right now, okay? Ban Fiora. If you don't ban Fiora, this guy's gonna 1v9 you guys. I'm not joking. Like I'm not joking. Rhinoceros is a Fiora 1v9 player. Like ban it or lose, you know, or be annoyed to the maximum level.
Like, yeah, like there's a few of those types of people in like the league. I mean, you just like it's a Fiora ban. I don't know. Like Fiora could be meta after the buffs.
I've never been that annoyed by Fiora in a long time. Like, I just, it's just so annoying. Like that champion is actually like broken when you see like someone who knows how to play them, do well.
I mean, it hypes up the team, but it doesn't like. It's just one champion. Like it won't make them any better, you know. Like okay, they get that champion, they're a little better, but like then he can like 1v9. But I mean, if he never gets the champion, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like I really think they're looking in at the playoffs, but maybe that's different with the groups, the group draws.
This is true. They can also level up though. They have like the players to like kind of figure out like expand their chat pool and stuff like that. But I think their bot lane struggles really hard though. Like their bot lane.
Their bot lane was kind of disappointing to watch, honestly.
Yeah, like their bot lane above. Okay, yeah, up. Like once you get to Cuddle Bunch, like they first of all Cuddle Bunch bot lane, like destroy them like 2v2. So. So in my opinion, if they don't make any improvements there in terms of like play or players, they're just kind of destined to be on the outside looking in.
And notice how none of the teams, all the teams that were ranked like before this point, and like I guess like 12 and above or 12 and under, I guess I don't know the way to describe it, but like they didn't have any buys or free wins.
This is true.
I think the consensus between the power rankings team was that like the teams that got buys and free wins are in because they got buys and free wins. Like it wasn't because they actually like deserved it. But that'll be, I guess we can talk about each team.
Yeah. Yeah, like I mean, there's a lot of controversy, like when it comes to that. But that sort of thing happens. I mean, we kind of went over it a little bit. We understand those kind of stuff, but I mean, now we're just gonna talk about the teams and how they stack up against each other. So next team is Soulbound Stratosphere. So they made a lot of moves, right? They picked up Soulbound. This is Soulbound Lightning, right?
Yes. This is the team with Alcantas and Spare.
Okay, so
I have
this
a lot of
team.
things to say about this team.
Please let me talk about this team. Oh my. Okay, first of all,
Okay, yeah, you can talk.
Quantic, aka John Man 7000. Um, he is literally the most washed up jungler I've ever. Like, why'd you put him jungle? This guy's washed. He's literally washed. Second of all, that's my number one flame.
Okay, wait, yeah, no,
Shots
hold on.
fired.
Let me get on that.
Okay.
Zero Armed was a terrible 5 jungler. He was a good Silky jungler, but a miserable 5 jungler. But still, you put Quantic in the jungle, like, I think that's just like oh my god, like it'd be so fun to watch Quantic in the jungle. It'd be so good, but like, that's a. I don't think you downgrade from Zero Armed, but they downgraded. I
You
don't
have
know.
it's a huge downgrade because
Yeah.
like it's a huge downgrade because Quantic is not is like I know him as a player, like I've known him for so long, so I can flame him because we're pretty good friends.
He's
But like,
spamming Rengar. Oh my god, are you kidding me? A Rengar player?
oh my god, I'm
Ugh.
getting spam calls. Just give me 1 second. I'm
God,
sorry,
he only
fellas.
plays
I am
Rengar.
gonna take a phone call. 1 second.
Alright, I'm gonna trash this team while you're taking a phone call. Alright, so Senior Picante, he was alright. Senior Picante was alright on Glacier. He definitely was like a bottom tier top laner though. Like he played weird shit. He played the same 2 champs and he wasn't impressive on it. Quantic, I don't know why he draws someone to be jungler. Akantos is a really good mid laner, and that's the only thing we're getting this team up. Waja is an okay ADC. Sorry, he's the best ADC in OPL. But Waja, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Definitely underwhelming. And at support we have Spare. Don't understand why they picked him up. Sure, he might be decent at the game, but his mental is literally like a potato. Um, that's a nice way to put it. Like his mental is literally a potato.
I am back.
All right, sorry, I was flaming their whole lineup. I was just saying, like Spare isn't a bad player, but his mental is a potato. So,
Okay, spare.
but you can continue.
Okay, I'm gonna go in on
I
this
just
roster.
I just went
Okay?
from top to bottom. Yeah, you
This
can
roster, first of all, like the thing that doesn't make any sense to me is like, okay, I feel like obviously Quantic is a better support than Spare. Like I don't hate
go. Oh,
Spare.
100%. I agree.
Quantic is a better
I
support than
completely
Spare. Where is the upgrade at jungle? Like, why don't you just look for like you had so much time. They've been in the like they've had a spot since the beginning. They never had to qualify for anything. They had a spot for like how long? You're telling me you couldn't find a jungler better than Quantic and you had to get Spare as a support? Like, no way. You know, like I don't believe it. Yeah, you have to be. It has to be like a thing where Quantic refuses to play support and he's like, I don't like this role anymore and I want to just switch to jungle. Like that sort of situation is something that would make sense to me, but like doing this little switcheroo and thinking that it's the best thing for the team is, beyond me. Like I just feel like that's just like you guys can prove me wrong. You can prove me wrong and do really well, but in my opinion, that's just not the way to go. And I think Alcantos is gonna, he's gonna have a little.
Yeah, a contest is gonna. I don't know.
he's
He
gonna,
yeah.
he's gonna
Yeah,
pop.
why did they move Quantic?
Hmm?
Why did they move Quantic to jungle? Like they made playoffs. I know the league, like their group was like messed up with like FFs and stuff, but why would they?
Yeah,
would
it's
they
just
move
yeah, I don't get it. I
him?
honestly don't get it, and I guess we'll just find out what's going on with that team in the near future.
Like they downgraded their jungle and support just so I don't know. They made some interesting decisions. I mean, like I saw Frosty mention, just trust us, like give Spare a chance. And then there's some of us sitting here who's been involved with OE and like Elder League and have seen Spare play for like years that are just like,
Yeah, but
like you guys are new to this. Like Soulbound, like I know you guys have been playing in these, but like you guys are new to the Spare situation compared to everyone.
I feel like
we've seen this play out.
Spare's he's not like awful. Like I'm not saying he's
No, I earlier like what you're doing. I said he's a good player.
He's a good player,
he's
yeah.
decent skill wise, but his mental is literally potato.
yeah, he
Like
has
if
a
you
really
miss it
bad
once, you're
mentality.
gonna lose the game. Yeah.
Yeah, really awful mentality, awful. But in terms of like straight up gameplay, the guy puts a lot of
Not
work in.
bad.
You know, he really
Yeah.
does. He puts work in. He really tries to like play the game to become better, but he needs that little bit of guidance, and maybe the org can help him out with that. You know,
Yeah, maybe Alcantas can
maybe he's
do that for him.
maybe Alcantos will be like, listen,
Daddy Contas.
Daddy Contos, listen, idiot, do this. All right, let's go on to the next team, CSU.
All right, CSU. They're literally like, all right. So anyone from here down is just like they lucked out. CSU did not look bad, but they looked. Sorry, they didn't look bad, but they didn't look good. They was just like they went 4-1, but they beat shit teams.
Yeah. Hard agree.
They hold on. Let me just find them. They lost to Ravens. All right. They had a bye round 2. They beat We Not Fit, which is a free win. They beat Celestial Royals, which is 1-4. They beat Illyrion. I'll give them that. That's about it. Like
Okay.
they lost to like an average. They lost to Ravens.
Yeah,
Like they lost to like an average team. I
that
just
says a lot. That says
Yeah.
a lot, especially when that game really mattered. That was a big game, and they needed to win it, and then they lost. So like, in my opinion, they're bottom half. Like they might get a couple wins.
Oh, I just got news that the game they lost to Ravens, they had a sub top jungle and support.
Oh, okay, that makes
Don't know how true all that is, but
Okay.
still, like
that makes
I
a
mean,
difference.
you still lost to like a middle to bottom of the pack team.
I guess so.
They-
No, yeah. I mean, you can't really make that argument and then argue for a better position. Like we're gonna have to put you where you are because
Yeah, this is results based. I don't care about who was your lineup.
Exactly.
Um,
Results based strictly. And
even if you use subs, like they're your subs, they should be okay at the game. Like, or they shouldn't be your subs.
like
um,
if you subbed out like our subs are like I guess it's Pada and me, and I think,
Hey, you need a sub?
yeah, and okay, Zach is on board now apparently, but
I'm the Cuddle Bunch boy. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. And then so like once Dark Excel gets subbed out for Pada turns in an equally good performance, if not better, depending on like the matchups, you know.
Yeah.
And like if you sub out Trebro, you're gonna notice a noticeable drop, like because Trebro is really good, and I'm fairly average. But I've played against at least most of these middle of the pack teams and below middle of the pack, and I've always won against them. So
Mhm.
like your roster needs to be deep enough where if things happen, if things happen and somebody can't make it, you you can't have that much of a drop,
Wait,
in
yeah, no, I
performance.
totally agree. There's so many situations, especially last season, where like something came up in real life, or people traveled, or something like that, and like it seems like, oh, I can't field this roster. I need this like e sub, or like, oh, I have to have a sub play or something like that. It's like that's why we increased the sub pool to 4, so you can have lots of subs and or high quality subs. Like we want you to bring on subs that can actually like fill roles. Like we don't want you to just like have subs for people that just like want to be part of the team for no reason.
Yeah.
Like the part of having a good 5 team is having good subs.
Exactly.
Like in Bloom had Demon Monkey as the sub, and like he came in semifinals, and like helped us win semifinals against White Lightning, like when we were down 2-1.
That was huge. And
yeah,
the thing is,
yeah.
when it comes to subs, like you need you need subs that like also have like all the players, even the starters, have strengths and weaknesses, right? So like your subs, like if you want to go even deeper, you can have some subs that can make up for some of the weaknesses of the starters, So in some sort of matchup, like if you know a player really doesn't play, let's say like one player just only plays carries top, and you have a sub who plays a bit of both, bruisers, tanks, whatever, he can make up for that, that shortcoming in that starter's play, and like come in and
Mhm.
perform a duty for your team, and that just gives you that much more like flexibility, and like you can really play around that. It's just that I don't know. I feel like teams need that's one area that OL teams can improve on, for sure. And that's CSU. CSU, you don't get a pass for using subs, okay? You guys are
Yeah,
bottom, but-
and yeah, that's what I agree. You know what's crazy too? So I'm looking at these standings for groups, And like Group Solar, I'm looking at these teams and I'm like, okay, Ravens, Lightning, Wyoming. Like, hold on, like Absolute Victory is clearly the best team, and then you have like Wyoming, Azura, and then maybe Ravens. I don't know. Like, Group Solar is gonna be so weak. So like these bottom teams that we're ranking right now, like actually have a chance, I think, for playoffs if
Yeah,
they're in Solar.
yeah. The way the groups shook out, guys, I
It's
feel
it's literally Academy, and
it's actually like very like you could tell there's a group of death, dude. That
yeah, you have
group,
like Academy with the season 2 winners, and then you have
Lunar Conference,
Lunar.
or
Yeah, no, Solar is the Academy conference. You have Hawkeye, Azura, Soulbound Sins, Elion, Wildfire Penguins, Wyoming, Absolute Victory, Lightning,
what
and
academy to
Ravens.
go to academy?
Literally Academy. Um,
Okay,
so
I will say though, group like I swear, like Lunar Conference is gonna be like a dogfight every night, dude.
oh, dude, oh yeah,
It's gonna be a dogfight, but like Solar Conference, you guys are all have the you have a final boss. You have Absolute Victory as the final boss, and everybody else is fighting for scraps. You know, Ashura.
yeah. I'm worried
Ashura,
though. I'm
okay,
worried
Ashura's
for
gonna be set number 2. Like Ashura and Wyoming are gonna fight for number 2, and then everybody else is just a dog. It's just gonna be like a trading blows. You know.
and that's why I'm stoked for week 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Move on.
But, okay. Anyways, let's move on to 45%.
Yeah,
Cosmic
Cosmic
Insight.
Insight,
Not
yeah.
much to say about them. I think we probably want to wrap this up soon. Not
Yeah.
much to say about Cosmic Insight. They beat Celestial Royals. They lost to Ravens. They beat Soulbound Sins. They beat Pyramid Thieves. I mean, they beat like some teams. Like they're gonna be a bottom to middle of the back team. They beat Sins, and they lost to Cuddle Bunch.
Yeah.
They beat Celestial Royals. They lost to Ravens. Like they had a free win, didn't they? No, they didn't. They're just like an okay team. Like I think they could like slide into like 11 or 10, but I don't.
Yeah.
I think where they are is kind of. I think it might be too harsh putting at 15, maybe like 14 or
It's
13.
really hard to gauge them as a team because we haven't seen
Yeah.
them really like compete like on stream with formidable like opponents.
They lost to Ravens and Cuddle Bunch. Those are their 2 losses, which
Yeah,
aren't
like well, Cuddle Bunch
bad
actually
losses,
just
but still.
he Cuddle Bunch didn't destroy them, but Cuddle Bunch beat them very handily. You know, their
Mhm.
jungler is their playmaker, but right now like you kind of need like the jungle role is not a carry role anymore. You know,
Mhm.
so like he can't a jungler can't 1v9 anymore. So like it's
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's hard. I'm sorry to say, but the future's not too bright for you guys unless you guys really step it up. You know.
All right, let's go to Sins.
Yeah, let's go to Sins. Sins gets
Interesting
disrespected
team.
day in and day out. Like this team was in the OL Academy League, and they were definitely not top tier. They were okay. Like they were like just maybe above middle of the pack. They're above middle of the pack in Academy, and they made it in without any tiebreakers or any weird shenanigans. So I guess they kind of improved and maybe like found their playstyle. But if you
Mhm.
just barely make it in the week applicant tournament, it's really not much I can say. You know, like
They let's see. I'm looking at what they did. They beat OTA Ability Power, which is a free win.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure. They lost to Air Force. They lost to Cosmic Insight, 45%.
that's
They had a free win in round 4, and then they beat Parallax Gaming, who was 2 and 3. Okay, so they like really didn't like.
really
It's
did
just kind of unimpressed. Like we just have to hope they prove to us that they're actually decent.
yeah,
They didn't impressive way in at all.
they kind of lucked out and gone to the Solar Conference.
Oh yeah, they're very
so
lucky.
so they have some time to like hopefully they get some wins, like they just pull out some wins here and there, so they keep it close up until like week 3 or 4, and then hopefully by then they figure out a way to like rely on like a reliable strategy that can carry them, you know. But until then,
hmm
like I really just I feel like the rest of the league is just
They should have
better.
just put Spare there. Like Spare is better than Goody Live, Live, whatever.
Hey, they want to give Spare that big opportunity, you know, like.
Yeah.
All right, that's kind of enough. There's not really much else to say about the Sins. Like,
I mean, yeah.
I don't really wanna flame them because like they're all cool guys and they're all pretty good. Like they're like not. They made it in, you know. So like we'll see what they do, but I really don't see like very much. I'm not really too optimistic about them.
Hmm.
Alien Gaming.
I,
Okay.
I just like I just don't understand these roster swaps. Like some of the people you like, I don't know why some of the people didn't just go to Sens from Lightning that like dropped.
I know.
Like, it would have been a decent team. Either way, okay. All right, Elion. I mean, they're they're tattletales. So
Their
they're
feelings got hurt.
yeah, we heard that.
They had their
We'll give them a
feelings.
yeah, they get a participation trophy for getting 16.7. All right. Actually, they really didn't look good at all in the tournament.
Yeah.
They kind of held some close games. Hawkeye, Hawkeye looked
Well,
up.
I think Ilion was surprised at how good some of the teams were. They got surprised, you know. Like I think that it's a step up from what they're used to in these other leagues that they play in. So they weren't really used to maybe the pace, maybe the way teams collapse or the way teams like respond to situations. And I don't think they were ready for that early on. And then they got some losses, but they came back. You know, like they got through with the shenanigans that worked in their favor. You know, some tiebreaker stuff that kind of worked in their favor. But like, I understand what their record is and who they played. But when I talk about their overall play and their potential, all I'm saying is they are really lucky that they're in the Solar Conference. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's kind of unfair too because like these teams had terrible boot calls, and they had free wins, but they also like we didn't get to see them play against good teams, which
And
it's like hard to
yeah,
judge them, you know.
and I feel like they're really. I guess they're gonna. I don't want to like give them a warning or something, but like once you start playing against the top like the upper teams in OL, you're gonna realize how much of a skill gap there is. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't play round one. They lost round two to a team that went 1-4. They had a free win round three. They had a free win round four, and they lost to Pyramid Thieves round five. Or no, they beat Pyramid Thieves. So like, yeah, they beat Pyramid Thieves, but I mean, like, you won one game, really. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're upset like with the whole Swiss thing, but like, maybe you should win.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know how to
Well,
put it. Like,
They won two. They won two.
yeah, but like, it's just
But like, okay,
nothing
I'll
is
put it this
impressive.
way. I'll put it this way.
Nothing.
They're definitely worse than the Penguins, and
Oh yeah.
they're definitely worse than the Penguins, and they're definitely. I feel like, on average, they might trade games with Soulbound Sins. You know, they might trade games with them. In all honesty, like I'm looking at their. I played
No,
against.
I agree.
I know, like when I look at their, I can evaluate both their teams. I think they're kind of on the same level as Soulbound Sins, but they're clearly better than Hawkeye, I think. So that is it's not really saying much, and I guess that kind of gives more of a we're kind of ragging on Solar Conference because they kind of
I mean, that's true though. Like,
So-
we're not gonna like
I'm
lighten
not
things
gonna
up. I mean,
yeah
it's
I'm
like
not gonna
conference. Yeah.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but like they're definitely a lot worse than Wyoming. They're definitely worse than Soulbound. Lightning's even better. Like I think. Okay, so yeah, there's it's that group is close, but close as in the scale is way different.
hmm
You know?
And I think, and I kind of feel bad because like Air Force and Cosmic Insight got Lunar, and then these other teams got Solar. These other African teams, and they're just like loving it.
Yeah.
Like Hawkeye and Sins and Elion literally got the best draw they could hope for.
Yeah, Hawkeye got really lucky, but like in a way where I feel like they can learn. You know, they're not gonna get blown out every game. They're not gonna like, get completely demolished to the point where they're gonna like be like, why did we even join this league? You know, but like they're in a conference where they can learn and grow. You know, and take that time to like get better and figure out their issues and stuff like that. So like for them, it really worked out. For them as well, but. It's not.
Do we
It's
even
no
need to
secret.
talk about Hawkeye?
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. It's no secret that they're the they're projected as the worst team. You know, but
Hmm.
all of this is just preseason bullshit. Okay, y'all can
We
just
hope they
come
do
in
well, but
exactly. Y'all can come out on Monday and Tuesday and be like, yo, those guys on OL After Dark, they're fucking retarded. They don't know anything, you know? They're flaming us and we went 4-0, you know? So,
yeah,
so that's like,
yeah. Since you gave him a run for your money, but like, yeah, he's like it was a mid-tier academy team.
yeah, beating me is not
Um,
an accomplishment. I'm just telling you that right now.
all right. So, do you want to talk about the GLE drama,
Okay, all
or
right, we can talk about the GLE drama. Let me.
and then this is our last thing we're talking about,
This is
then
the
we'll wrap
last
up.
thing. Okay, last
We
topic.
don't
Then.
want this to go too long. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to sleep, guys. So let me close this and let me open close this. All right. Okay, so GLE drama. So, what happened, Zach?
Okay, so this might take some brain power here. So basically, it came to basically we found out that Thorngrim, the captain of GLE, was deceiving admins by lying regarding his I think it was his jungler's account. Basically, um, one of the players they added was Gold 1 or Gold 2, and everyone was already kind of like, yo, what the hell is this? And then we were in contact with the org owner of GLE,
Actually,
who
I need to add something.
confirmed.
I need to add something. Sorry to cut you
Okay.
off, but before that happened, a player was suggested to get vetted, I guess, because previously in the season he was Grandmaster. We didn't know when he was. We were gonna do a full, I guess, like check, like on the account, but we didn't know. But beforehand, the information that was given was this player was previously Grandmaster but swapped roles. Was a Casio one trick but swapped roles to jungle, and now they're D2. They're a D2 jungler. They dropped all the way down, right? So it's like already kind of like weird, you know? And then you're like, okay, let me take a look at this account. And then immediately, after realizing that maybe, it's obviously against the rules, it was that whole like approved this Grandmaster player was gone. Like we're like, yeah, we can't bring him in, but we have another sub or somebody we want to add to our roster, and it was a Gold 1 player with like kind of like a high win rate, I guess. But we all know, like, okay, this player's Gold 1, doesn't really have a high level. Obviously, it's a Smurf account, right? And continue on. There you go.
Yeah. So basically, they post this account, and everyone's like, yo, what the fuck? And then the org owner is in contact with someone from staff, and basically said, just to be transparent, do you know this guy's main? And they're like, we're like, who? It's like this Gold 2 account, and they're like, what? And he links the account that was Grandmasters recently. So basically, the the captain of GLE, Thorngrim, did not acknowledge that the gold player was actually the ex Grandmaster player.
So you try to
And
approve the same player.
Yeah. He
but
attempted to approve the same player on a different account.
on a different account by saying it's
Yeah.
the original player. I know he's not eligible or whatever, but
Eligible.
try,
Yeah.
yeah, but like try to approve this player, which is the same guy on the different account, you know. So it's
So basically, he tried to lie about someone playing.
exactly try to
Oh.
smuggle some dude in, dude.
So we like talked to GLE, and the admins came to the conclusion that because Thorngrim did it without the owner of GLE's knowledge, we would remove Thorngrim and allow GLE to keep the spot because the owner was the one who was transparent about it. And I was like, oh yeah, this is the deal.
Yeah, a staff member asked the owner, it's like, hey, do you know anything about this? Who's this guy? And he's like, oh yeah, that's this guy's Smurf account. Like, cause he's thinking that, like, the owner is thinking he doesn't know anything about our rules. He doesn't know anything about OL, right? So like he's not like looking at our rules or anything like that. But he's just like, saying whatever comes to his mind, as like just trying to give as much information as he can, not knowing that he's giving us the evidence to like, you know. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, that's this guy's account, and this guy's trying to get it approved. Like, what's going on with that? And he's like,
hmm So
oh,
basically, the ruling was that GLE would keep the spot, and then GLE could not field a roster. Um, and then the ruling regarding GLE keeping the spot we'll talk about in a bit. But basically, as in like 5 minutes. But basically, GLE could not field a roster, so the next applicant team came in, which is Wildfire Ravens. So, and then if it wasn't Wildfire Ravens, it would be Illyrion Gaming after
yeah.
that.
So Wildfire
Um,
Ravens made it in, regardless.
Yeah. But yeah, basically moving forward, we're going to like make sure every team informs us of who like technically owns the spot. Is it a player? Is it an org? You know?
Yeah.
So if like a ruling like this happens, we know like who to punish, who to remove, like what to do with it. So like if it's an org who owns the spot and it's the owner that fucks up, like in this situation, the org can still own the spot. But if it's like an org that owns the spot, or sorry, but if it's like if it's like someone playing under an org, but that person owns the spot, then we remove the entire team, like something like that. Like it's yeah. So and if it's like a person who owns the team, no org involved, we just remove the team. You know, it's just like knowing who owns the team and who's involved with the team.
it's easier to like point
Yeah.
the like responsibility on somebody, you know, like
Yeah.
who's responsible, you know, and
Like it's like hypothetically, like one team Slim could have like full responsibility over. So if they have like an issue, then the whole like team will be removed, like the Wildfire team. But if there's like another team where only the captain had responsibility, but Wildfire like was unaware of what was going on, then technically Wildfire would retain the spot, but the person who was like responsible would be gone. So
yeah,
it's just going to be important for rulings
yeah,
moving
this
forward.
is one of those precedents type of moments, you know, and
hmm
we can really look back on it and like we can make sure that like as long as we make the right decision and we handle it well and like make sure everything's fair to everybody, we can look back on it and be like, hey, this is what, you know, we did here, and we're gonna do it again in the future to make, you know. So like
hmm
it's all about making, when new things come up and new situations come up, it's just all about making the best decision you could possibly make at the time, and then and that's how you kind of build up a track record and a reliability, you know, and that sort of thing. But yeah, and that kind of wraps up the first episode of Oh Well After Dark with your boy Brink and Zach.
What
But in the future, we definitely want to have guests. We'll take suggestions or even topics if you guys have some topics you guys want us to talk about. Some spicy drama. We ain't scared to talk about. We ain't scared to talk shit up here, guys. I'm telling you
hell
right
yeah.
now.
No one's
but
safe.
but all I'm saying is, yeah, guests for sure. We're gonna have some guest stars, and then we're gonna get into it. You know,
Yep.
we're gonna get into it.
This will be uploaded on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Please follow the YouTube channel and subscribe to it.
Yeah, like and subscribe, like and subscribe,
Yeah.
like and subscribe.
5
But-
stars, please.
5 stars,
Um,
please.
But yeah, like
Subscribe
make sure.
to my premium Snapchat.
Yeah, I'll link my Patreon, but make sure y'all subscribe. And we will take guests in the future. So if you guys, maybe we'll have like a guest list. I don't know, like we'll have a list people can fill out or a form.
Yeah.
And then also, in your suggestions, you can either leave them in the YouTube comments or in the community input section in Discord. Like, do you want a new layout? Do you want to talk about something else? Should someone talk less? Should we have like more clear and concise, like, I guess directory on like what we're going to talk about rather than just really vague subjects? Things like do you want a shorter or longer podcast? Things like that.
Definitely like that. Yeah. Yeah. They
More
just-
beer, less beer.
Yeah. I mean, definitely give us some feedback. Like my feelings ain't gonna hurt. Okay, I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna,
this is
I'm
both
not-
our first time doing this, so we
Yeah,
really need the
exa-
feedback.
Exactly, and I'm not gonna go and tell the dean at your school that you criticized me. Okay.
Yeah, I'm really gonna report your entire
Shots fired.
team.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
That
kidding.
meme's never gonna be let down.
Oh my god. All right. All right. This is us signing out. Have a good night, everybody,
Yeah.
and good
Good
luck
night.
on
Thank
your
you for
games.
tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and good luck on your games coming up this week. See ya.
Peace.